So this is just my white cake recipe. So it's very basic. This is so basic, you guys. Such a basic recipe. And this is based off of what I do, what I use. And the supplies that I choose to use on my cakes. So everybody's going to use different things. Everybody's shopping at different places. Everybody has different scenarios. Some people have a lot of storage space so they can buy in bulk. I don't. So I cannot buy in bulk. I don't even make that kind of cakes, that number of cakes that need me to buy in bulk. So I just don't do it. And if you think if you have to buy in bulk, then you have to purchase storage or you have to have a bigger space, which also costs money. So everything, you guys, everything has a dollar amount to it. No matter how you split it, there is a dollar amount to the cake. So my numbers are going to look vastly different from somebody else's number and very different from anybody that actually owns a brick and mortar or has to bake out of a commercial kitchen or has to share a space. Whatever the case scenario is, this is all broken down. So if you guys can see here, I broke down the feel free to share this broadcast, you guys. People don't seem to get it. I mean, we can talk about it all day, but I guess until it's broken down and written down on paper, people don't still get it. And I'm probably missed, you know, a lot of things too that maybe don't pertain to me, but probably pertain to you, and so forth and so on. So this is just, guys, to give you an idea. So let's go over this. So my white cake, this is to, you know, an 8-inch white cake. My particular size cakes for an 8-inch typically feed about 20 people to 24 people, okay? So I broke it down based off of my receipts, like what I go to the store and what I purchase. So whatever pound bag of flour I got, I put that in my database, and it told me that 3 cups of purpose flour is going to cost me 40 cents. Okay, so if you can see, everything is broken down here. $1.33 on the butter. So this alone, I think, was like $3.26. And then the cake. Oh no, Sophia. No, Sophia. $15 an hour. That's not what I charge for my labor. But that is a great starting point for anybody who is a cake decorator and is decent. You should be paying yourself at least $15 an hour. That's my opinion. But that's not, I pay myself more than that. Just to make a batch of my buttercream, which will feel, cover, and do some sort of decorative fashion. I pulled this picture off the web because oddly enough, I didn't have just a plain cake. So if you can see this picture, just to add a little bit of sparkle to your cake, so very basic, you'll need one batch of, or I will need one batch of my Swiss meringue buttercream. Of course, when I do more embellishments or doing a ruffle or a rosette or even making all of those buttercream flowers, I have to use way more buttercream than that because now I have to do like at least half a batch of this buttercream to do any sort of other decorative buttercream. Okay, I didn't put any fondant on here because this is just a basic cake for a home decorator like myself. So I used all real numbers, you guys. I used my real numbers. All right, supplies. The cake boards I love, they're a little bit pricey, but I love them. Could we come down on cost with a cake board? Sure, we could, but you know, I use what I use. So these are my numbers. Again, your numbers are going to be different, but this is just to show you guys what you need to consider. A 10-inch cake drum. I like my cakes to be on nice drums. I don't like cheap cake boards. I don't think they look nice, so that's not what I offer. Now, if I were sort of cranking out a bunch of cakes, you know, these numbers would go down, obviously. How many cups is my buttercream? That's a good question, actually. I don't know how many cups. I've never actually divvied it out in cups to know, Mimi, but I know that one batch will fill and cover an 8-inch cake decently, with maybe a little bit of leftover, but not much. How much would you charge per serving for fun? Oh, we're not talking about that right now because I didn't do those numbers. 10-inch cake box, at least $1.50. You could probably get them for cheaper, and some probably cost more. And I put miscellaneous supplies at $1, and that would include like plastic wrap, gloves, paper towels, dish soap, cake release, wax paper, parchment paper, all of these things that I use one time and then throw away. So these things are disposable, and I have to replace them on a regular. The Shauna, cakethings.com. It's great. Okay. Equipment. I bet you guys didn't consider this. I bet you guys didn't consider your ovens, your refrigerators, your KitchenAids, your spatulas, your piping tips, your knives, all of these things that you did pay a good amount of money for, including my acrylics, at one time, and you get to use them for several cakes. So those are what I call things that depreciate over time, because eventually your KitchenAid is going to break on you and you got to get you a new one, or your oven is going to go out on you and you got to get you a new one. So I calculated what it would cost for me to replace all of those things that I use, and I figured I can get safely 1,500 cakes out of that before I would probably have to replace that. So I divided whatever that number was by 1,500, and I came up with an amount that I needed to add per cake. Okay. Oh, great. Thanks, Mimi. So you need to add that, you guys, because eventually you're going to have to, replace some things. All right. Gas, water, electricity, and rent. That says $35. That is no joke. No joke. No joke. I bake from home. Okay. I have to pay mortgage. I am in Los Angeles. I have a stupid mortgage. You guys would probably fall out in your chair with a heart attack if I told you how much we pay in mortgage every month. So I'm not going to tell you because it's a little bit embarrassing. But I'm in Los Angeles. I still have to pay my mortgage because that's where I work out of. So what I did was I decided what percentage of my home do I use for my cake business. Okay, so I took my mortgage and what I pay a month, okay, 12 months obviously, so I took what I pay every month and I think I took 5% of that, because actually I should take 10, because about 10% of my home is what I use to operate my business. But because my mortgage is so damn stupid, excuse my French, I went with 5% because it was ridiculous. I bet you do. So I took that amount. I also took my electricity and water bill, an average amount per month. So let's say average for water and electricity is $250 a month. And I'm also I'm taking into account, we live here. I live here too. It's not just about cakes in this house. So I took a percentage of what I would pay per month based off of what I would use towards cake when I am working in my home and my business. Okay. So, and then I took gas and I did the same thing, and I came up, believe it or not, based off of in a year, my estimate is that I'm going to average 2 cakes a week. That's 104 cakes in a year. I took that average and I divided it by 104 cakes. That is me. I personally cannot really do any more than that because I am one person. Again, your averages are going to be different based on your situation. I cannot stress that enough. If you have you're running your business 24/7, so to speak, and you're pumping out cakes, you're going to have very different numbers. All of these things have to be considered. Sorry. Okay. So there we got that. Don't forget insurances and permits. And you've got to, and taxes and all of those things. You've got to add that. How much does it cost for me to hold liability insurance for my business per year? How much does it cost for me to renew my permit license per year? How much does it cost me to do all of these business sort of fees to run a successful business, even if it's part-time, even if it's from your home? You guys, you have to be legal. You have to cover your bases. And these things cost money. So you have to then take that number of all your expenses to run your business legally, insurances, permits, whatever it costs you, you take that number and you divide it by the estimated projected cake sold for the year. Okay? So you have to then take that number, and I divided it by 104 because me, by myself, working part-time, I can only do so many cakes a week by myself or in a given year. Okay, that does not mean that I only do 2 cakes a week. It just means that is a safe projection. That's what I'm basing my numbers off. Your projection might be different. These are the things you have to consider. This is why I can't tell you how much that cake is you should charge for that cake, because I don't know your situation. This is what I do. All right, marketing supplies. You got to include those too, like, you know, cards, letterhead. When I give out, you know, cake instructions, that's paper involved. That's business cards attached. That's yeah, she'll say it, right, Lori? So all of these things you have to, again, you take how much you spent, and if you don't know these numbers, go back. Sift through all of your, you know, your accounts and pick out, when did you spend money on cards? When did you spend money on paper? When did you figure out what that number is? And again, based off of how many cakes you're going to use and what that cost is, that's where you come up. So I actually came up with about 50 cents because, believe it or not, I don't do that much marketing. It's all Facebook and Instagram. So I don't do a lot. I got a really great deal on business cards. So I don't have a lot going on there, but I got to include that. Now I got down to labor. I thought $15 an hour was a safe wage that you can pay anybody who is at the level that you know how to bake a nice cake, make it look decent and decorate it very simply. You know how to do that. That's a basic skill level for cake decorators. People going to come and pay you to make them a cake, then you know you should have the skill and the talent to command $15 an hour. I don't care where you live. I don't care if you are in a rural area. Your skill level, your knowing how to run a business, your talking to the customer, emailing the customer, meeting with the customer, researching ideas for a cake, going to the grocery store, doing your shopping, doing your inventory, doing your invoicing. All of this is time, and your time is money. So you should be paying yourself. If you know how to do all of that, you should be paying yourself $15 an hour. That is my opinion. I'm a firm believer of that. I pay myself more, but I thought $15 an hour was a good starting place for anybody that's want to take this business seriously. So $15 an hour to make just a basic cake. Now this doesn't mean you can't make other things in 3 hours, but 3 hours time, that includes going to the grocery store, going to pick up the items, gathering your items, sifting your flour. Y'all know I don't really sift though, right? But sifting your ingredients, mixing your ingredients, baking your cake, torting, filling, crumb coating, decorating, mixing buttercream. Don't forget, you have to clean up. You have to clean up your space. You then have to, the time to correspond with the customer and the time to pack up that box and wait for them to pick it up. All of that total time is about 3 hours. Okay? That is 3 hours total time. It might take you less than 3 hours. It might take you a bit more than 3 hours. But a nice average is about 3 hours. Okay? And if you're paying yourself $15 an hour, that is $45. So this is a basic cake though, Shelby. I'm not even talking about designing anything. This is a basic 8-inch cake to serve about 24-ish people, maybe 30. When you add up all of that, the total was, see if I can enlarge this for you guys. The total was $105.08. Hello, that's for a simple 8-inch cake. So again, you guys, these numbers are based off of me, what I provide, what I want to provide, what I want to sell. Now, we can talk logistics you want. If you go buy a purse at Kmart, it's going to be functional. It is going to hold your wallet, your makeup, your whatever. It might even be cute. It's not going to cost you $2,000. Why? Because the maker decided to use different materials. Their labor is different cost. But then you want to go over to some fancy store. I don't even buy these for Gucci. You want to buy a Gucci purse. It's going to cost a whole lot more. It is as a business owner, as a cake designer, it is my choice, the level of product that I want to offer. And just because somebody doesn't want to pay at least, well, for me, I have a minimum of $150, but if they don't want to pay at least this much for an 8-inch cake, then they need to go shop at the baker that sells the cakes that they want to buy, that they want to spend money on. I do not have to lower my price or find a cheaper butter or find a cheaper cake board if I don't want to. So, it's all about choice. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, it is a stupid question, in my opinion, to post a picture of a cake and ask anybody, how much would you charge? Because I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what products you're choosing to purchase. I don't know the level of the cake sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know what you're selling. I don't know if you're selling a $20 purse or if you're selling a $2,000 purse. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're going for here. So I just wanted to jump on and please share this broadcast. I'm going to end it here. This is for a very basic cake. I didn't even include fondant. We're not talking about fondant work. We're not talking about extra time to make flowers, to make cutouts. We're not talking about anything. We're talking about a basic cake from me, living in LA, Los Angeles, California, with the products and with the materials I want to sell. The level of work I am selling, the quality of product that I choose to sell. This is my bottom line. Okay, so that's it. No, Heather, you can't lower your prices because you worked hard at figuring out all of this. Now, I'll say one more thing and then I'm going to go. If you are lucky to find butter on sale, well, gosh darn it, you just made an extra $2 in your pocket. That doesn't mean you give it back to the customer. Please, if you choose to travel all over town to find the best bargain, you have not only wasted your gas and your time, but you should not be giving away that money to the customer because you chose to drive 15 minutes more out of your way to get butter for 10 cents cheaper. So that's my opinion. Judge me or not judge me, but that's just what it is, and that's what I choose to do. So happy caking, everybody. Please learn and figure out your prices, and I hope that you have learned something from me. And if you have any other suggestions, I'm sure there's a lot that's missing here, you guys. There's a lot missing. Again, I can't know what you need to charge for. Okay, thanks, guys. And butter ain't cheap. Bye. Happy caking.